Number 5, Nate Sinez. Transition, number 6, Max Schilling. Forward, number 7, Grady Holmes. Forward, number 8, Kyle Lewis. Transition, number 9, Aiden Kenley. Defense, number 10, Carson Berkey. Forward, number 12, Bennett Trout. Forward, number 14, Jason Knox. Defense, number 15, Nick Medley. Defense, number 16, Matthew Humphreys. Forward, number 17, Keaton Trout. Defense, number 18, Simon Colby. Defense, number 25, Colin Colby. Goalie, number 35, Andrew Laxonen. The coach for the Rivermen is Tyler Pfister. And now to meet the Grays, the home team, the champion from the Mid-Atlantic Collegiate Box Lacrosse League, with goalie, number 1, Curtis Jackson. Forward, number 2, Jacob Angelis. Transition, number 3, Mason Edwards. Forward, number 4, Ryan Brown. Transition, number 5, Billy Saffin. Faceoff, number 7, Matthew D'Souza. Forward, number 8, Josh Sanchez. Forward, number 19, Jake Pratt. Forward, number 20, Brian Riley. Forward, number 22, Ben Nyberg. Forward, number 23, Mark Sprague. Defense, number 33, Brandon Young. Forward, number 40, Dalton Young. Defense, number 44, Caleb McNall. Transition, number 66, Dylan Laverne. Defense, number 71, Ryan Young. Transition, number 7, Dalton Young. Defense, number 44, Caleb McNall. Transition, number 66, Dylan. Defense, number 96, Mark Davidson. The coaches are Shane Curtis and Rich Hodge. Underway between the Grays and the Rivermen, both teams looking for their first win of the tournament, and opening goal of the game scored by the Rivermen. Rivermen goal scored by Alexander Van Voorhees. The time of the goal, 30 seconds of the first quarter. Van Voorhees for the Rivermen, scoring at 30 seconds of the first. By Alexander Van Voorhees. The time of the goal, 30 seconds of the first quarter. Van Voorhees go up by a score of 2-0, winning the face-off. And it was the pass into the center and the finish by Carson Berkey off the feed from Matthew Humphreys. Rivermen goal scored by Carson Berkey off the assist from Matthew Humphreys. Time of the goal, 1 minute of the first quarter. Berkey from Humphreys for the Rivermen at 1 minute of the first. So a quick 2-0 lead through the first 2 minutes for the Rivermen. First game of the day for them. The Grays played in the first matchup this morning against the Stoneflies and had a 7-3 lead, but ultimately the Stoneflies would win 11-8. For the Rivermen, they played against the Revolution from Connecticut yesterday. The Revolution led by scores of 6-0 and 9-1. The Rivermen would make it respectable, though, at the end, losing 14-12. So they could take some positives away from that loss last night, and they have the slightly fresher legs compared to the Grays, who had to play earlier on today. So the 2 quick goals by the Rivermen, and we're off and running in this third of 6 games to take place today for the 2022 NCBS National Championship. For the Grays, this is their final game to make an impression to try and qualify for the semifinals tomorrow. Rivermen looking to get their first tally in the win column. The Stoneflies did that in the first game this morning. Some fast-paced play by the Rivermen. Pass out to the point. Down low for Van Voorhis, who got the first goal off of the feed from Trout. And ball will head the other way for the Grays. You have the newest league represented, the Mid-Atlantic Collegiate Box Lacrosse League, with the Grays representing the DMV area. And the shot by Angelus will get things going for the Mid-Atlantic Collegiate Box Lacrosse League with the Grays representing the DMV area. Angelus has scored 4 goals in the 2 games that the Grays have played so far, and he gets the scoring started for them. Grays goal scored by Jacob Angelus. Time of the goal, 3 minutes, 50 seconds of the first quarter. Angelus scoring for the Grays at 3:50 of the first. Two 2-1 lead for the Rivermen, and just talked about how the Grays, the expansion team in the NCBS, as Young makes the pass over to the near side, and the shot coming from Ben Nyberg, and the stop is made by the starting goalie for the Rivermen, Andrew Laxonen, wanting to clarify that before this game, the rosters were corrected to reflect that Nyberg now wears number 22, and Ryan Brown is the player that wears number 4, who has 3 goals through the first 2 games in the tournament. The Rivermen, on the other hand, they're the first ever NCBS national champions, winning in 2019, part of the Ohio Collegiate Box Lacrosse League, the second league in the NCBS, founded in 2018, first national championship tournament in 2019. The first steps towards what it's become with 2 teams, Fighting Bison from Colorado, the Rivermen from Ohio, and as the ball goes out of play, the Rivermen would win in the overtime period that decided the game. Both teams won a game, and then a tiebreaker with an overtime for 15 minutes that the Rivermen would win to hoist the national championship trophy for the first time in history. And the Rivermen came back last year as Ohio champions in 2021. So this is now their 3rd NCBS national championship tournament, and the only other team with more than 1 appearance, the Royals, who won last year representing the California Collegiate Box Lacrosse League, and they're back to defend their title this year. Looking to thread the needle there was Senez, and then the rebound is picked up and put into the back of the net for the Rivermen by looking to thread the needle there was 3-1. That all started with Senez making a nice pass down low and knocks right there on the doorstep to put it in the back of the net. Rivermen goal scored by Jason Knox at 7 minutes 55 seconds of the first quarter. Knox for the Rivermen at 7:55 of the first. 3 different players have scored the 3 goals for the Rivermen, who lead 3-1 against the Grays inside of halfway in this first quarter. 7 minutes 10 seconds to go. The turn and fire by Sprague, and now here come the Rivermen the other direction. Jump shot for the Rivermen by Grady Holmes, who had 2 goals last night. And the stop is made by Jackson Curtis. Brought across the center line by Mateo Roman, who had a nice transition goal in the game this morning against the Stoneflies off of a beautiful pass from Dalton Young. Dalton Young is the player with the ball, spins off of a double team, looking for relief, finds it in the form of Angelus. Angelus with tight defense applied to him by Schillig. Down low, Laxonen falls to his chest in order to keep it out of the net as the shot clock expires. And Curtis able to snuff that one out as the Rivermen were trying to work on a 2-on-1, and now the Rivermen are going to go to the penalty box with a delayed call that brings Curtis over to the bench for an extra attacker. 5 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. Angelus passes it to the corner to Young, who fires, and stop is made by Laxonen, and now we'll get the penalty called against the Rivermen, which will give the Grays an opportunity to try and come back. Two-minute penalty against the Rivermen's Jason Knox. Time of the penalty, 9 minutes, 50 seconds of the first quarter. Young, the intended target of the cross-court pass. He goes behind the net, now runs it back out. Angelus up top to the point. Near side for Sprague. And the shot comes from Riley from straight away. Stop made by Laxonen, doesn't give up the rebound. And now the Rivermen will head the other direction. This will be the final round robin game that the Grays play. Battle for it in the corner, and some physicality from Hogan to keep it as long as he could before it's taken away by Edwards. The Rivermen will play tonight at 5 p.m. against the Stoneflies. Sprague up top, Riley. Cross court, good ball movement, and the finish coming from Ryan Brown for the goal. Sprague up top, Riley. Cross court, good ball movement, and the Brown had it. I think 4 of the 5 attacking players touched the ball as the ball worked around the perimeter. Gray's goal, scored by Ryan Brown. Time of the goal, 11 minutes, 20 seconds of the first quarter. Brown for the Grays at 11 minutes, 20 seconds of the first. 2-on-2 here as Van Voorhis has his stick hit as he was releasing the ball. Down low, the wraparound attempt, and it's kept out of the net and in the crease there for Van Voorhis, and we're gonna get a penalty, and it'll be the Rivermen going to the box for an illegal substitution. Second power play, or pardon me, it's illegal substitution against the Grays. So now the first power play of the game for the Rivermen. Penalty is called against the Grays. 2 minutes for an illegal substitution being served by Ben Nyberg. Time of the penalty, 12 minutes, 50 seconds of the first quarter. So Rivermen up 3-2 on the power play, as faking the pass, or faking the shot and attempting the pass was Knox, but it gets away from its intended target. Knox at the point. Knox now fires it off of the feed from Senez. Offensive rebound to the Rivermen. Knox again straight away. Cross-court pass goes off of the foot of Holmes. Knox shoots again and can't get it on goal. And the Grays come away with it, having killed off the first minute of the illegal substitution penalty. One minute remaining in the first quarter. Brown falls down as he makes the run towards goal. Long outlet pass, the goalie Laxonen setting up a breakaway for Berkey. And the save is made by Curtis. Berkey, who's scored last night and today, part of both NCBS National Championship Tournament teams for the Rivermen, helping them to win the title back in 2019 and part of the team in 2021. Shot clock expires before the shot could be taken by Brian Riley for the Grays. Ohio Collegiate Box Lacrosse League represented in the NLL now with the drafts of Jack Hanna and Jack Jasinski. Hanna, the leading scorer for the Rivermen in their 2 trips to the NCBS National Championship. That's the end of the first quarter. The score after 1, Rivermen 3, Grays 2. So the Rivermen got off to a flying start with 2 goals in the opening minute, but the Grays able to settle it down. 1-goal game after the first quarter. Rivermen 3, Grays 2. We'll be back in a couple minutes with the second quarter on NCBS.TV. Start of the second quarter. Jonathan Horowitz with you from the Plex here in San Jose for the 2022 NCBS National Championship, brought to you through the production of Score Break across many platforms on social media and the internet. The growth of collegiate box lacrosse since the start of the NCBS with the 1 league in Colorado in 2017, now expanding to 6 leagues represented here in 2022. And great to hear about the worldwide audience that is tuning in and hearing from people that have family and friends viewing not only across the United States, but all around the world, Hong Kong, among the various countries that are part of this audience that is following the growing sport of box lacrosse, and the talent level, particularly here in the United States, increasing with the recent NLL draftings of players that have come out of the NCBS. Penalty is called against the Grays, 2 minutes against Jack Posey. Time of the penalty 1 minute of the second quarter. So the teams change ends, and the Rivermen up 3-2 will be on the power play. Rivermen getting 3 goals from 3 different players. Knox, who has one of those goals, will pick up his second with a left-handed ripper from straight away that goes in past Curtis. Rivermen goal, power play goal, scored by Jason Knox at 2 minutes of the second quarter. Knox for the Rivermen on the power play at 2 minutes of the second. Putting the pressure on right off of the face-off, and it's Max Schillig who gets the goal for the Rivermen and comes straight back to his spot on the face-off dot. Rivermen goal, scored by Max Schillig at 2 minutes, 25 seconds of the second quarter. Schillig with his goal for the Rivermen at 2:25 of the second. Grays now down by 3. Dalton Young with the shot, and Laxon able to make the stop and stick it out of the air. He'll lead the outlet pass that just sneaks past the intended target, Carter Hillary, who would have been all alone for a breakaway. Laxonen came on in relief yesterday and helped settle things down for the Rivermen, who climbed back from being down by 8 goals to losing by just 2. Angelus shot across his body, and it goes wide and back into the Grays end, where the Rivermen will take over. 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. A 5-2 lead for the Rivermen off of 2 goals in the opening 3 minutes of this second quarter. Cross-court pass, broken up by the Grays' Ryan Young. Ball's going to stay with the Rivermen, who have outshot the Grays 13-5 and lead by a score of 5-2. Senez tries to pass it to the point, and able to retrieve it there is Keaton Trout. Ball's going to stay with the Rivermen, being deflected out of play by the Grays. Senez trying to get away from Edwards. And now the Grays will come away with it after that pressured possession by the Rivermen. Grays cut the lead to 1 at the end of the first quarter, but the Rivermen with 2 goals to extend that lead to 3. Brown with the shot, and it'll go back to the Rivermen. Chance in transition for Hillary, 1v1. Now the play is blown dead, and we're gonna get an illegal substitution penalty identified by referee Justin Kitashima. Supervised the referees through the first part of the tournament. Now he's on the court. Referees in the NLL as well. Good crew that we've seen throughout this tournament. Penalty called against the Rivermen, 2 minutes for an illegal substitution. Penalty being served by Matthew Humphreys. Time of the penalty, 6 minutes of the second quarter. So the Grays down by 3 go on the power play. And the Rivermen now will break out in transition shorthanded. And a shorthanded goal going coast to coast by Bennett Trout. And the Rivermen are up. And the Rivermen now will break out in transition shorthanded. And a Rivermen goal, shorthanded goal, scored by Bennett Trout at 6 minutes 50 seconds of the second quarter. Trout shorthanded for the Rivermen at 6:50 of the second. Rivermen still shorthanded for the next 40 seconds. They've gotten all 3 goals of this second quarter to extend a 3-2 lead to 6-2. Sprague, far side. Nyberg rips it from the wing for his first goal of the tournament. Extend a 3-2 lead to 6-2. Sprague. Gray's goal, power play goal, scored by Ben Nyberg. Assisted by Mark Sprague at 7 minutes 45 seconds of the second quarter. Nyberg from Sprague on the power play for the Grays at 7:45 of the second. So that power play goal by Nyberg ends a 3-0 run for the Rivermen, and the Grays are within 3, 6-3, looking for more with the shot coming from Riley, and the save is made by Laxinen. Bleachers are full here at the Silver Creek Sportsplex. Great host, not just for this NCBS National Championship, but for the U.S. Boxla Nationals, attracting players from all ages, from the United States and Canada. 5 different rinks to play on simultaneously here at the Plex. Shot from the wing, and Laxinen is able to close the 5-hole off the shot from Begley. 5 minutes 45 seconds to go, second quarter. 6-3 lead for the Rivermen. Pass is broken up, but it gets fired down low and knocks on the doorstep. Had a chance there, but it stays out of the back of the net, courtesy of Curtis. Knox from the wing now. High pass, but his target fell down before he could get it. Sinez loses his stick and tries to kick it forward, and in doing so gets called for a violation. That sets up a breakaway here for the Grays, and Brown is denied by Laxinen, but the second chance there coming from Nyberg for his second goal of the game. It's called for a violation. That sets up a breakaway here for the Grays, and Brown is denied by Gray's goal, second of the game, scored by Ben Nyberg at 10 minutes 10 seconds of the second quarter. And Nyberg with his second for the Grays at 10:10 of the second. Grays with a chance at a 2-on-1, but good back checking there, and the attempt is broken up by Colby. So the 2 goals by the Grays have halved the Rivermen's lead to 2, nearing 4 minutes to go, second quarter. Grays putting the pressure back on here, as Roman will now leave it for Angelus. Angelus sustains contact from Hogan, but gets away from it. Angelus shoots it from the wing, and Laxinen able to make the save. He'll make the long outlet pass, but it's out of the reach of Berkey, who was looking for a breakaway opportunity. Rivermen slowing the tempo down. Behind the back pass, and the beautiful pass by Holmes to Hogan results in a Rivermen goal. Rivermen slowing the tempo down. Behind the back pass, and in the second quarter. Rivermen goal scored by Zach Hogan, assisted by Grady Holmes at 11 minutes 50 seconds of the second quarter. Hogan from Holmes for the Rivermen at 11:50 of the second. Rivermen looking for more with the shot from Lewis that now gets turned the other direction, and it's chased down for the Grays for a short breakaway opportunity by Posey, but Laxonen in the perfect position, and he'll make the outlet pass to Knox. On the other end, Knox dekes. Oh, he was in the crease, or else it would have been a goal with a goalie assist. Good vision there on a few plays by Laxonen to try and transition the defense to the offense. Angelus, shot from straight away. Laxonen to his knees to make the stop. Riley to Sprague. Laxonen again to his knees to make his second save of the possession. Screen is set by Sinez. Van Voorhees makes the pass down low and attempt to stuff it in from behind the net, but Curtis is right there for the Grays. Pass out of the reach of Angelus to Laxonen, and he'll make the long pass back into the offensive end for the Rivermen. Trout picks it up off of the bounce. Into the center, and chance there for Kenley, but didn't have enough space to make it count. Under a minute to go now in the second quarter. 7-4 lead for the Rivermen, who've outscored the Grays 4-2 in this frame. Angelus passes it down low. Brown surrounded, gets the shot off. Laxonen makes the stop, but in the creases called against the Rivermen, and the Grays will get it back with an opportunity inside the final 15 seconds to take some momentum into the halftime break. Nice feed down low. Angelus to Young, knocked down. Cross-court pass, 3 seconds remaining in the quarter. Angelus, chance at the buzzer, stopped by Laxonen. Keeps it a 3-goal game. That's the end of the second quarter. The score going to halftime. Rivermen 7, Grays 4. Rivermen getting the first 2 goals of the game, and they've really spread the offense around. 6 players scoring their 7 goals, and the Rivermen using some of the momentum that last night carried them after being well behind to the Revolution, making it just a 2-goal loss, and now coming out here for their first game of the day on a very strong note, and they lead 7-4 at halftime. As we go to the break, we'll be back in about 5 minutes on NCBS.TV with the start of the second half on game number 3 of 6 on this second day of the NCBS National Championship.
Very early in my lacrosse career, I gained an appreciation for the value of box lacrosse as it carried over into field lacrosse. And every kid should be starting by playing box lacrosse instead of field lacrosse. So many young men from Canada who play box lacrosse are getting a lot of scholarship money in the U.S. for college. By starting this thing in the U.S. now, I really believe that we're going to have a great symbiotic kind of relationship between the education you can get in college, but the kids being better skilled to play field lacrosse through box. You never see a kid come off the rink without a smile on his face, win, lose, or draw. And there are a lot of reasons for that. Number one, it's so much fun. Nobody's pigeonholed into a position. You know, everybody's up. In field lacrosse, you throw a ball over someone's head, it rolls 30 yards, it goes out of bounds. In box, it stays in play. So that the quick, oh my God, I've failed. There is no failure. It just, oh my God, it's in play in a different way. Than the 30-second shot clock and the speed at which it's played can only enhance what we're doing in field lacrosse at the college level. The key for me is using lacrosse to make young people happy.
Whistle blows to start the third quarter between the Rivermen and the Grays. Rivermen leading 7-4 at the break, out shooting the Grays 20-15. Jonathan Horowitz with you on NCBS.TV. Grays with the first possession of the second half off of the face-off win by Matthew D'Souza. And the shot taken by Angelus is sticked by Laxonen. And now the Rivermen going to work with their first offensive possession. And a nice feed, which makes its way through to Kenley, but sticking out the leg there was Curtis. Now Kenley will be the one to make the pass, and it will make it through off of the... Now Kenley will be the one to make the pass, and the Rivermen will go up by a score of 8-4. So Kenley fed Lewis. Lewis took the shot, and then putting it back in was Grady Holmes. Rivermen goal scored by Grady Holmes. Time of the goal, 1 minute into the third quarter. Holmes scoring for the Rivermen at 1 minute of the third. So Holmes becomes the 7th different player to score for the Rivermen in an 8-4 lead. Pass down low, but missing the one-timer there is Van Voorhees. And the Grays looking to make a 4-goal comeback from this point, like their opponents did in the first game that they played today. The Stoneflies were down 7-3, but would come back to win 11-8. Pass goes all the way back into the Grays' end. 6 games today for the final day of round robin play for the NCBS National Championship that'll set the seeds for tomorrow's semifinals as well as for the 5-6 consolation game. Ripper from the point, and it'll find the back of the net for Hogan, who picks up his second of the game. Ripper from have their second 3-0 run of this game to extend the advantage. Rivermen goal, second of the game, scored by Zach Hogan at 3 minutes 20 seconds of the third quarter. Hogan for the Rivermen with his second at 3:20 of the third. So the 7-4 halftime lead for the Rivermen extended to 9-4, and the Rivermen, they took a little bit of time to get going in this tournament as the shot from the point comes from Humphreys, who chases down his own rebound. Shot clock didn't reset though. Sinez now puts it on goal and makes it through traffic, and Curtis able to make the stop. Rivermen found themselves down 9-1 early in their first game last night against the Revolution from Connecticut. Then came back and never got even, but closest they would get would be within 2, and that was the final score, 14-12. Brown from the wing, and he'll take the pass from Angelus and put it in the back of the net. Never got even, but closest they would get would be within 2, and that was the final score, 14-12. Gray's goal scored by Ryan Brown, assisted by Jacob Angelis. Time of the goal, 4 minutes, 30 seconds of the third quarter. Brown with his second for the Grays from Angelis at 4:30 of the third. Van Voorhees gets a screen from Sinez. Cross-court pass right on the stick, but it couldn't be corralled by Hogan in the end, and the shot clock will expire. And it'll go back to the Grays, who look to come back for what would be their first win of the NCBS National Championship Tournament, to try and keep hope alive to make the semifinals. Lost by the Grays would knock them out of consideration for the semis, but they still would be playing tomorrow in the consolation game. Shot on the run by Holmes off the pass from Lewis, and Curtis able to make the stop. Brown checked into the corner. Sprague surveys the scene in front of him, and the pass is broken up, and here comes Colin Colby in transition. You've the Colby brothers, Colin and Simon. You also have the Trout brothers, Keaton and Bennett. Goes out of play, back to the Grays. Halfway through now this third quarter. 9-5 lead for the Rivermen. Laxonen able to break up the pass there that was made by Dalton Young. Sinez runs it to the near boards. Gets help at the point from Lewis. Lewis sustains contact, will now feed it into the corner to Knox. Knox lost it, and the Grays now with a chance at a breakaway, and the jump shot taken by Roman, who got a breakaway goal in the last game against the Stoneflies, but Laxonen able to make the stop, and we're gonna get an illegal substitution penalty against the Rivermen. And coming off of the bench there was Matthew Humphreys, but no one was there to substitute for him. Illegal substitution penalty called against the Rivermen. The time of the penalty, 8 minutes, 30 seconds of the third quarter. So the Grays go on the power play, looking to climb out of this 4-goal hole. Sprague with the shot, sneaks it in past Laxonen for the power play goal. He really took his time on that possession. Climb out of this 4-goal hole. Sprague with the shot. Sprague from Virginia Wesleyan. Grays goal, power play goal. Scored by Mark Sprague at 9 minutes of the third quarter. Sprague on the power play for the Grays at 9 minutes of the third. 9-6 lead now for the Rivermen, and the Grays win the face-off courtesy of D'Souza. Down low for Brown, but it goes now behind the net. Running it out from behind the net is Young, and Laxonen and company are right there on defense. Outlet pass for Schillig. Face-off man for the Rivermen. Knox has to retreat to the far boards to pick it up off of the bounce. Up top, and it bounces away from Lewis. Shot clock winding down, and Lewis made a pass that seemed more like it was intended for referee Charlie Whitty than anybody else. The shot clock expires nonetheless, and the Grays will try and continue to make a comeback, down by 3 after being down by 5 a few minutes ago. Shot from the wing from Angelus, and Laxonen's able to make the save. He likes to make the outlet pass, does so, but waiting for the Rivermen's Carson Berkey were 2 Grays defenders to prevent what has been a breakaway situation earlier in the game. Tight defense there from Edwards against Hogan. Behind the net, and the dump shot by Sinez will sneak in past Curtis. I'm not sure Curtis knew exactly what the situation was, but Sinez got a tight defense there from Edwards against Hogan. Behind the net, and the dump shot by second goal of the tournament. Rivermen goal scored by Nate Sinez at 11 minutes 20 seconds of the third quarter. Sinez for the Rivermen at 11:20 of the third. And that one's going to sneak into the back of the net. And down low there was Holmes, and we'll see if he was the last one to touch it right off of the face-off. And now it's 11-6. Lewis was at the point, and Knox took the shot, and yep, he was the last one to touch it, not Holmes, so we'll give credit to Knox for the goal. Rivermen goal, the third of the game, was scored by Jason Knox at 12 minutes 15 seconds of the third quarter. Knox with his third for the Rivermen at 12:15 of the third. Coming inside of 2 minutes to go, and the goals for the Rivermen now up by a score of 11-6. So it was 9-6, and then goals by Sinez and Knox have made it 11-6 as we approach 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Here's Knox again, tries to make the pass through traffic to Van Voorhees. Cross court, and the shot comes from the wing from Holmes. Lewis continues to put the pressure on, and it's going to stay with the Rivermen. Under a minute to go now in the third quarter, and it's going to get past Curtis to make it 12-6. Stay with the Rivermen. Under a minute to go now in the third quarter, and capitalize off of the rebound that goes in. And it's Knox from the point, getting his fourth. Rivermen goal, fourth goal of the game, scored by Jason Knox. Time of the goal, 14 minutes of the third quarter. Knox with his fourth for the Rivermen at 14 minutes of the third. 6-goal lead for the Rivermen, final seconds of the third quarter. And Brown with the backhanded shot that goes wide. That's the end of the third quarter, going to the fourth. The score, Rivermen 12, Grays 6. Real team effort from the Rivermen, who have 8 different players that have scored, with 4 goals from Jason Knox, who had 4 yesterday, and leads the way for the Rivermen going to the final quarter. We'll be back in a couple minutes with it on NCBS.TV. Welcome back to coverage of the 2022 NCBS National Championship. Quick start for the Grays off of the fourth quarter, which is what they need. And it's welcome back to coverage of the 2022 NCBS National Championship. Lost his shoe on the previous face-off. Hat trick now for Brown. Gray's goal, third of the game, scored by Ryan Brown at 20 seconds of the fourth quarter. Brown with his third for the Grays at 20 seconds of the fourth. Now it's the Rivermen with the ball. 12-7 lead. Lewis put his shoulder into the defender. The shot came from Berkey and it gets blocked before it makes it on goal. It's deflected off of the Grays, so the possession will stay with the Rivermen. Rivermen led by 4 goals by Jason Knox, who had 4 goals last night in the loss to the Revolution 14-12. Grays looking for their first win of the tournament with a comeback as Knox fires it from the point. Save is made by Curtis, and it then goes into the back of the net, but in the crease is called, and that'll negate the rebound goal, so the Grays dodge a bullet there. Game number 3 of 6 today that will close out round robin play. Each team playing 3 games over the course of 2 days to set the seeds for tomorrow morning semifinals. Spin move there from Nyberg, but in the end not able to make anything of it. Pass across the center line for the Rivermen. And run towards goal from Van Voorhees, and Curtis able to go to his knees to make the stop, and he's slow to get up, so we're going to get a penalty here. Illegal substitution against the Rivermen. Penalty against the Rivermen, 2 minutes for an illegal substitution being served by Jason Knox. Time of the penalty, 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. Dalton Young gets hit and gives the ball up to Angelus down low, and Brown couldn't control it, but the Grays still have it. Down by 5 on the power play. Young winds up looking for the corner. Instead, it goes wide to the right of Laxinen. Rivermen will get it, but not able to control the pass. There is the number 20 player on their roster. We'll look to sort out who that is after this game. Bennett Trout, with his team shorthanded, will give it back to Berkey. Rivermen, part of the Ohio Collegiate Box Lacrosse League, Ohio Cup winners, to make the NCBS National Championship Tournament each of the 2 years that the national championships have been held out in California. Different look team this year, though, as they returned Sinez, Hillary, Berkey, and Medley as attack players from last year's squad, along with Brett Bedard. So not as much as the Royals have kept most of their roster intact. Those are the 2 teams from last year that returned this year. Berkey being the lone player for the Rivermen that was also on the inaugural national championship winning team back in 2019. Brown gets his own rebound but fires it wide. Loft by Angelus is broken up there by Laxinen. Going to be whistled back to the Grays. 9 minutes and 30 seconds to try and get out of this 5-goal deficit. Tempo is slowed just a bit. Angelus with Berkey losing his stick, so Angelus gets a shooting lane, and the stop is made by Laxinen. And we're going to get a penalty on the Rivermen. Rivermen penalty. 2 minutes for an illegal cross-check called on Aiden Kenley. Time of the penalty, 6 minutes, 20 seconds of the fourth quarter. Angelus with the pass, and the nice shot taken by Pratt, but the save is made by Laxinen. So the Rivermen with the incentive to wait out this shot clock. Shorthanded, also with the clock on their side, 5-goal lead, 12-7. This is the third of 6 games taking place today. Shorthanded shot taken by Sinez, and the stop is made by Curtis, and it's going to stay with the Rivermen, so they'll be able to take more time off of the penalty, the illegal cross-check call against Aiden Kenley. Berkey will wait with it at the point. Rivermen will have one more game tonight. They'll play at 5 o'clock against the Stoneflies, and short-handed shot, and it goes 5-hole, and the goal being scored more game tonight. They'll play at 5 o'clock against the Stoneflies, and goalie's legs. Becomes the 9th different player to score for the Rivermen. Rivermen goal, short-handed goal, scored by Kyle Lewis at 7 minutes 40 seconds of the fourth quarter. Lewis short-handed for the Rivermen at 7:40 of the fourth. Grays will get the goal down low. It's put in the back of the net, 40 of the fourth. So it thus settles after those quick goals in succession, and it's a 13-8 lead for the Rivermen. Gray's goal scored by Brian Riley. Time of the goal, 8 minutes, 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. Riley for the Grays at 8:30 of the fourth. Nearing 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Knox with 4 goals, looking for his 5th. Stop is made by Curtis. Breakaway here now for Riley, who got the last goal and puts another one in for the Grays. Curtis with some equipment issues, but his team with 2 straight and 3 of the last 4. Breakaway here now for Riley, who got the last goal and puts another one in. Scored by Brian Riley, 9 minutes 44 seconds of the fourth quarter. Riley with his 2nd for the Grays at 9:44 of the fourth. Curtis Jackson having his helmet fixed. Rising senior in high school, getting some good experience against some elite college players. Helmet associated with his nickname Cujo, same design as the hockey goalie Curtis Joseph once used. So it gives us a chance to take a break. 5 minutes, 16 seconds to go. Still within striking distance for the Grays, but they'll have to make up 4 goals over the final 5 minutes, 16 seconds. And Curtis gets the helmet back on. And now he'll get his stick from the referee, Charlie Whitty, and will get back to action after Riley scored his 2nd goal in a span of 1 minute and 15 seconds. (13-7) lead for the Rivermen, now 13-9. D'Souza facing off for the Grays against Schillig for the Rivermen. And it'll be picked up for the Rivermen. Loose ball being controlled by Bennett Trout. Angeles on the restart. Brown finds Young. Oh, great opportunity, but Young couldn't control it. Brown runs in and pokes it into the back of the net, but he's called for in the crease. Four and a half minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 4-goal lead for the Rivermen, who are out shooting the Grays as well by a margin of 36-28. Cross-court pass out of the reach of Holmes. Now the Grays break out. Key possession here. Chance for a 2-on-2. And the goal coming from Billy Saffin. First goal of the tournament is a key one for Saffin in transition. Now the Grays break out. Key possession here. Chance for a 2-on-2. And now the Grays have 3 straight. Grays goal scored by Billy Saffin at 11 minutes of the 4th quarter. Saffin for the Grays at 11 minutes of the 4th. 13-10 lead after it was 13-7, so Grays making it a little bit more interesting. Van Voorhees up ahead, and the shot running into the goalkeeper was Humphreys. Clock stops with 3 minutes, 12 seconds to go, and we may get Humphreys for goaltender interference. Actually, instead, it's going to be an illegal cross-check against Ryan Young. So he pushed Humphreys into the goalie. Penalty against the Grays, 2 minutes for illegal cross-check against Ryan Young at 12 minutes of the 4th quarter. So the Rivermen on the power play. And with the 3-goal lead and the clock on their side. Move towards the center by Van Voorhees. Stop is made by Curtis, and the Grays will have to be offensive-minded on the penalty kill. 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. They trail the Rivermen 13-10. The man who's gotten the last 2 of the last 3 goals for the Grays has it. It's Riley, who's knocked down, and the ball will go to the Rivermen. Just over a minute left on the power play, under 2 minutes to go in the game. And after losing last night to the Revolution, a win for the Rivermen will put them at 1-1, and the loss last night by the Stoneflies, and they defeated the Grays to move to 1-1. You also have the Revolution, who lost to the Hawkeyes earlier at 1-1. And they're all looking up at the Hawkeyes, who are 2-0, and conflicting calls here by the referee about whether the Grays were in the crease, and head referee Justin Kidashima will make the call that ultimately stands. And so that could be the last straw for the Grays as we near 1 minute to go in the 4th quarter. 1 minute remaining in the 4th quarter. Shot comes from Holmes, goes wide. Chased down by Lewis as the shot clock expires. 46.5 seconds remaining. Breakaway opportunity, and it'll be a goal coming off of the bench for Brown. He was just waiting for the referees for the restart as the ball came straight to him. And it's now a 2-goal game as the Grays have gotten the last 4 goals. Grays goal, 4th of the game, scored by Ryan Brown at 14 minutes, 18 seconds of the 4th quarter. Brown with his 4th for the Grays at 14-18 of the 4th. Face-off win by D'Souza. Timeout called by the Grays. So the Grays looking to come back from what would seem like an impossible 13-7 deficit. But now they're within 2. And you go back a few moments ago to the in the crease call, and the referees differed in what their opinion was, but ultimately it was ruled in the crease, no goal. And so that negated a goal by the Grays. And it's still a 2-goal cushion for the Rivermen. Royals are waiting over along the far boards for their first game of the day. It'll come against the Revolution from Connecticut. Revolution lost to the Hawkeyes 18-5 and had a quick turnaround to try and get ready for the defending NCBS national champions. Here we go, last gasp for the Grays. Angelus. Far side Brown fires it from the wing, doesn't make it on goal. Rebound comes out to Riley. Young, spin move by him. Splits defenders, shoots, and it's stopped by Laxton. That could be the game-saving stop with 25 seconds to go. Rivermen will look to run this one out. Timeout called by the Rivermen. 15.7 seconds remaining, 2-goal lead. So yesterday it was the Rivermen who found themselves behind by as many as 8 against the Revolution, and they ended up closing the deficit to lose by just 2. Here, the Rivermen up by as many as 6, but the Grays have mounted a comeback, and now they're within 2, which is the closest that they've been since the second quarter. 15.7 seconds to kill off for the Rivermen as Kenley takes the ball from the referee. Kenley with some fancy footwork, some spin moves, dancing inside the final 10 seconds en route to the first victory of the tournament by the Rivermen, and it'll be punctuated with a goal that is put in on a wraparound. Moves, dancing inside the final 10 seconds en route to the first victory of the tournament by the Rivermen, and it'll be the third of the game scored by Zach Hogan at 14 minutes 58 seconds of the fourth quarter. Hogan for the Rivermen with his third at 14:58 of the fourth. That's the end of the fourth quarter. The final score, Rivermen 14, Grays 11. Rivermen record improved to 1-1 as part of pool play here in the 2022 NCBS National Championship. Coming up next, it will be the Royals, the champions from the California Collegiate Box Lacrosse League, taking on the Revolution from the Connecticut Collegiate Box Lacrosse League. 9 different players scoring for the Rivermen as they put themselves back in the mix to try and make tomorrow's semifinals. Rivermen will be coming up in the game after this one against the Stoneflies from Colorado, but in the meantime, it'll be the second game of the tournament for the defending NCBS national champion, the Royals. Let's see how they do against the Revolution from Connecticut, who will be wrapping up their round-robin play in this game. We'll have it with you for you in about 15 minutes time after warm-ups on NCBS.TV. I'm Jonathan Horowitz. Thank you for being a part of these broadcasts from the Silver Creek Sportsplex in San Jose, California.